Libra.
Hello Libra, this is your November forecast for 2016, and this month I feel is going to be a month where you're going to be really looking over your finances and tweaking it to the best of your ability. This is because the Sun and Mercury right now is cruising through your second house of values, your income and so forth, but it's also a period of time where you're looking into your own inner self and your self-worth. That is also what that second house indicates. And since they're moving through the sign of Scorpio, you're going to be emoting, feeling, taking in things, reacting a little bit more deeply, as Scorpio always will go to the bottom of anything, right? So you're really looking within for those transformational aspects that you can bring up to the surface and then also communicate that self-worth one way or another. But between the two of them, you're really going to be doing a lot of good work, because either of them, they won't be back before next year at the same time. So this is your window of opportunity to really see what you can do right here. Now last month, they were cruising through your sign. It was your birthday month, and so I feel that that has lifted your energy up, empowered you in so many ways there in October. So here you're taking it one step further. You started that journey, that new annual cycle in October, but the annual journey right now is going into rooting, grounding those things that you've come to consciousness about. We have Venus too, now in the third house, communication. Venus ruling love, and so it's a month where you're going to feel those things very close to heart, but you may also find yourself communicating much more about love and romance and those things that you hold very close to heart. And it's a happy-go-lucky month in that sense, because as Venus is in Sagittarius, think of always about Sagittarius as being very enthusiastic, optimistic, very playful, and always somebody who's got future goals on those horizons. So it's a month where I feel that you're going to be not just planning and scheduling, you could, but it's you looking ahead where it is you're wanting to go and what you're wanting to achieve. And it has just met up with Saturn there in the very last days of October. So now you're taking that energy, Saturn wanting to ground that vision, and you, with your full heart invested into it, you're now embarking upon a journey towards those new goals. So good for you. Mars, on the other hand, is in the fourth house. It has been there in all of October. Home projects is what has been your priorities, and it still will be for a little bit here as we start off the month before it moves into the fifth house. But right now, it's about your home, it's projects, it's getting all your ducks in a row. It's also engaging within areas with your parents, either mother or father. And you could have seen here that probably on that third week of October, things started to speed up in that area. And then into that last week of October, when Mars and Pluto were in a conjunction, okay? So there could have been changes coming in, or something that you needed to take a good firm grip upon. And that could be a little different for each of you. Don't have your personal chart. Of course, it's important to know where that conjunction hit off in your natal chart. But here in your solar chart, absolutely has to do with transformation on those things that has to do with family and residence. But then we have also Neptune doing its thing in your sixth house. We've talked about that, so I'm not going to reiterate it too much. But you're starting to see these subtle shifts and changes in your daily routine, how you're feeling about yourself, how you're going about your energy levels, trying to tweak them. Some of you might feel a little less energy. Some of you might be doing something about that to rise the frequency of your physical energy. That's Neptune in its retrograde working in this area. But we're looking at your full moon this month here, Libra, and that full moon is in the sign of Taurus. For you, that will be your 8th house. So the area that's going to be illuminated here is you looking over your security income. Not necessarily your monthly income, but how you could perhaps tweak things to shore things up. Retirement funds, investment funds, royalties and so forth, commissions. If you've been waiting for a payout, this would be a good time for you to be able to receive it there on the 14th. Speaking of the moons, we got the new moon there on the 29th in the sign of Sagittarius, and that's a great place to have a new moon. It's going to induce all of that enthusiastic energy in the area for you, which has to do with short distance travel. It might also be communication there with siblings. If you're needing to do any presentations, this would be a great day to bring this concept up and out, because the new moons are like birthing oneself. Every month we birth ourselves into each of these areas in the chart. So for you here, it's also planting a seed for the next 12 months. And so what would that intention be? For you, Virgo, I think, Libra, sorry, would be all about saying to yourself that you want to give yourself a little bit more time to interact, perhaps, with your siblings, have a little bit more one-on-one with them, or also to allow yourself a little bit more time to short trips in the coming year. Maybe just like a weekend getaway, a road trip here or there. That will indicate and revive you like a vitamin shot, okay? So that's a great intention to have. But before we start off on the major aspects for the month, for those of you who might be wondering about the camera angle that I sit like this, I'm giving you a little insight at the end of this video. Not that I care, but I get so many questions about it and comments, so I thought I'd let you in on it. So watch to the end this month. But as we start off here, Libra with the Sun and Neptune here on November 1st, great aspect. They are aligned perfectly. The Sun being you, Neptune being your hopes, your visions, your dreams. So you're going to feel good, and you might also feel slightly romantic here, November 1st. On the 2nd, you're going to have a communication that can be or also become quite transformative. Now for you, when Mercury and Pluto lines up, always recall Pluto's in your 4th house, having to do with your foundation, Libra, your family, family members, your home, real estate, and those things. So when Mercury comes in here to communicate, it's really wanting to look at something here financially within the home area. On the 7th, we have the Sun and Pluto also coming in to the very same aspect. So again, you're going to be looking at your value or your home real estate value. For those of you thinking of moving, buying, selling, this could be a great time because we got contracts here since Mercury also is involved. On the 15th, we have more communication. This has to do with you taking some direct action. Mars is involved. Mars here now on the 15th, pretty much now on the cusp going into your 5th house. So you're moving out of the area of where your attention has been on home projects, whether upgrading or what it is you've been focusing on. Now Mars is going to want to have a little bit more fun. And so you can come to see how you will be expressing your energy, maybe more so in the areas of hobbies, leisure, or also romance, which the 5th house is pretty much all about as well. And Mercury being there, well, I see you communicating your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, actually expressing them, not just thinking them, but expressing them to whoever needs to hear it. And I think that is important, because if you're not expressing it, who around you will know, right? They have no clue, if they're not telepathic, that is. So the more you bring out what it is you desire, the easier it is going to be for you to receive those very same things. On the 18th, be a little aware. There could be some miscommunications, misunderstandings going on. Mercury's not beautifully aligned up there with Neptune, so somebody's hearing something that they think they're hearing, not necessarily what is being said. That can create a situation, but it's not a biggie, as already the next day Venus is coming to the party, and she will clear it up what was really said or really intended. So you're good. And besides, the 19th, this month for you, I hear Libra, Venus and Neptune are beautifully aligned, and Venus being your ruler. So for you especially, it's going to be a beautiful time to have a date night. Put that on your calendar, because Venus here is now doing the dance with Neptune. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, so it's kind of like a double whammy. Now, Venus for you at this time here, I feel it is in a place of playfulness and expressing that inner child coming out too, which Neptune is going to embrace. So sometimes we gotta have that energy as well. Keeps it nice and fresh. On the 22nd, 23rd, these are days of the month that if you are looking to embark upon something new or have any communications of contracts, so forth, well, Mercury and Saturn is going to really secure it for you. If you're needing a contractor for a job, for example, to do something here for you, well, then you will find the right person to work with. Saturn's all about responsibility, assuming responsibility, and doing the best that we can manifest, right? So here this communication contract should be good. Jupiter is also sextiling Mercury on this day. So again, I'm feeling that this is something that you, over the long term, can actually benefit from. So if you're starting a new job, having an interview, this would be a great time for you, because Jupiter is expanding your personal horizons now, as long as she's cruising in your first house, right? However, though, we're coming up towards the holiday here, Libra, and this holiday can be a little bit, I won't say difficult, but I feel there could be differences of opinions, and normally that is all okay, but here we are smack in the holiday type of it. Jupiter can be righteous when she's not really aligned perfectly. And so you might feel that you're sitting on your opinion of something, it being opposed by somebody else who's very verbal about it, or vice versa. And Jupiter and Pluto, when they're square, we can see these forces are kind of like butting heads. Now, or of course, globally, we can see how these energies could be butting heads as well. But on the 25th, it looks like there is some kiss and makeup energy. Venus coming to the party, trying to explain what it was all about, trying to give reason to whatever it was. And Pluto can be healing, but Pluto can also be very devastating. So between these two energies, you're going to see how you're really lifting that heart energy of Venus up to square things up here, but she's still not in a good aspect to Jupiter either. So 24th, 25th, they're kind of like, but, you know, lay low. But whenever there's energies like that, it's better to fly under the radar, you know, and become the observer rather than the participant, so you don't get intermingled too much there. But the end of the month is coming out on a good note here. Libra, we've got some great news coming to you, and I feel it could be unexpected news. It's not one of those things where you're sitting and waiting for it, but out of the blue, you could come to receive something exciting, and this could very well be, I feel, coming from your partner or also a family member. So this is what we have for November, and if you want to listen to those weekly aspects, the videos that are up there, you'll get more a day-to-day. When the moon is involved, that will more show your moods and your inner emotions and how those interactions take place on a daily basis. But here we go. Now listen to the camera angle enigma. Have a good one, guys. Listen, I thought I would address the comments that you guys have had and speculated about over a long time, and that is, why do I look this direction and into the camera this way. It has a couple of reasons. And of course, for me, I'm more all about the information rather than the camera. But just to let you know, I have two very important reasons for why I sit the way I do. For one, I want to keep in touch with you on the camera, but then I have my board here with the transits, the dates, and so forth, because not all that information is stored mentally. But there's a deeper reason, and that is the third point. You, the board, and then the midpoint. Now, the midpoint for me is when I access the future, okay, when I put it together. And you can try this for yourself as well, because, see, if you look to the left, you're processing the past. That's where your memories go down memory lane. That's the past, that side of our brain. When we look to the right, we're accessing the future, right? That's where you go when you're speculating what will happen now in the future. You will go this direction with your eyes. So for me, I channel my information when I look in this direction. So for me, rather than sitting straight on, then it works for me. My information flows better. It's how I roll. Now, if I was to talk to you without thinking or considering the future, then I would look straight on like this, because then I'm just talking about the here and now, whatever, and looking at you. But as soon as I psychically start working, well, then I got to go like this to get that information in the future and download it from there. So that's why, no mystery, but now you know. See you next time.